Hello again. Yeah, here I am back, and this time preparing us to begin to think about our work together on week 3. Week two's over, and we're moving on to new dimensions, new lenses in our journey of faith, living, and learning. I hope you are finding this to be a meaningful journey. I know that I'm finding real and personal value in reading your work and learning more about your own journeys, adventures, and gathering wisdom from you. I really value that. Thanks so much for sharing with me so transparently. Last week, we looked at the two philosophers that most people, most certainly most historians, and many philosophers consider to be the bedrock thinkers of the Western world, Plato and Aristotle. This week, we turn to two other historical persons who maybe actually have even more influence, at least in terms of numbers, Moses and Jesus. Moses, of course, is owned by both Christians and Jews, but he is the great founding father of what we call today the Jewish faith. His influence in the world of law and ethics and faith is almost immeasurable. And of course, many folks around the world have just finished their journey through Easter, Good Friday, and Resurrection Sunday. It's hard to overestimate, to overstate the pervasiveness and the impact of this person, Jesus, on the world. There are, between 13 and 14 million Jews in the world and nearly 2 billion Christians. We certainly can quantify the impact of these two men. Since Moses is also significant in the Christian faith, well, you can see the numbers are really huge. By the way, Muslims account for another nearly 2 billion persons. Really, this is the third largest faith in the world. And if any of you would like to explore Muhammad, the Quran and his teachings, and his influence, using the same questions that are in the syllabus as applied to Moses and Jesus, I certainly would welcome you to do that. I encourage you to do that if you're interested in that. Now, just like last week, select one of the two or three, do the research, and respond to the questions provided. On your life map this week, another journey we continue, the lens turns from events and timeline to relationships. This may very well be the most important lens that you will have, because for better and worse, and it's both better and worse, as you know, we are often deeply and sometimes tragically influenced by others. As children, we are nearly completely dependent on family. As we grow, that dependence may lessen as more and more others come into our lives, others' influences, teachers, friends, pastors, rabbis, lovers, and children. And family never really goes away. Take this opportunity to identify those persons in your family and not in your family, in your biological family and maybe in a faith family or a friendship family that have exercised significant influences on you and your growth. What is it about these persons that makes such a difference? By the way, regarding your life map, there are other options for you to consider. Make sure you look at the syllabus and consider the best way for you to present your work in this area as you move forward. Our film journey continues this time, stays with the theme of relationships. The film, The Fellowship of the Ring, from the Lord of the Ring trilogy, while still focusing on one person, on the ring bearer, on Frodo Baggins, helps us to consider the power of friendships and companions as this segment of the trilogy really does focus on the fellowship. It's the fellowship of the ring. The 9 persons who will accompany and assist Frodo on the accomplishment of his great task. This friendship on this journey is, the most important, perhaps, friendship on this journey is that of Samwise Gamgee, or Gamgee. As you watch the films, keep your eyes on him. Keep your ears open and pay attention to what he has to say. Use this film to think about the power for good and for ill that people have in our lives, that people are in our lives. Finally, we continue our journey with Anne Lamott. This section of the book is subtitled Church People Strengths. Sorry, can't read my notes. As you might guess, it has to do with relationships. In one of the most interesting chapters, Anne tells us why she makes her son Sam go to church. It's a great story, raising all kinds of questions and responses. Perhaps you won't like what she says. Many don't. But she will help us think about the importance of being with others, even if we don't want to. She also invites us to think about the most pressing and most challenging of all relationships, and that is parent-child. Well, enough for now. I'm looking forward to the continuing conversation. Talk with you soon. Oh, by the way, if any of you would like to pursue any of the discussions and topics or any of my responses to your papers that we talk about during these times, there are 2 ways you can do that. You can use the collaboration and reflection forum that you'll find on the first page of the syllabus, or you can write to me directly. Copy in others as you would or not. An online course doesn't always provide the same coffee pot opportunities that an on-the-ground version does. But there are ways that we can get around that, and I encourage you to use them. Looking forward to your work. Bye-bye. See you soon.